Many Christians confidently claim that the Bible allows drinking in moderation. The statement sounds simple, balanced, even mature, but few have stopped to ask the right question. When the Bible speaks about wine, is it referring to the same thing we have in our hands today? Or are we reading an ancient text through modern lenses and calling that biblical interpretation? Scripture uses words such as yayin in Hebrew and oinos in Greek, which do not automatically refer to alcoholic wine as we know it. These terms were generic. They could indicate freshly pressed grape juice, lightly fermented wine, beverages heavily diluted with water, or even non-fermented preparations. The word itself does not define alcohol content. Context is supposed to do. That context is often ignored. In the ancient world, there were well-documented methods for preserving grape juice without fermentation. The liquid was boiled down into a thick concentrate, stored in sealed containers, and later diluted when consumed. Ancient writers described these practices naturally. The primary goal was not intoxication, but preservation of food and sustenance of life. This completely changes how biblical texts should be read. Yes, the Bible clearly and consistently condemns drunkenness, but that does not prove that all biblical wine was alcoholic. It only shows that intoxicating use existed, was strongly rebuked. Proverbs associates such wine with the loss of judgment. Isaiah speaks of leaders spiritually blinded by drink. Paul states that drunkenness disqualifies people from the kingdom. At no point is it treated as neutral or casual. When we come to the Lord's Supper, the care must be even greater. The celebration takes place in the context of the Jewish Passover, a period in which all leaven was removed from the home as a symbol of purity. The biblical text does not say alcoholic wine, but the fruit of the vine. There is no direct evidence that Jesus used a fermented drink there. To assume it without proof is not faithfulness to the text. It is tradition being treated as doctrine. The more serious problem arises when Christians import modern wine into the Bible as if they were equivalent. Today's wine is stronger, more fermented, produced for recreation and sensory pleasure. The wine of the biblical world had a different composition, a different purpose, and a different cultural meaning. Ignoring this is both a hermeneutical and a spiritual error. Still, there is something even deeper at stake. The New Testament never builds the Christian life around what is merely permitted, but around what edifies. Paul does not say everything is sin, but he also does not say everything is advisable. He states that not everything is beneficial, not everything builds up, and he makes it clear that he would not be mastered by anything. The criterion is not whether something is lawful, but whether something rules you. The Christian faith has always been about self-control, spiritual vigilance, and sobriety. Scripture does not call us merely to avoid excess, but to preserve inner clarity. An alert disciple is someone who keeps the mind clear, the heart sensitive, and the conscience free. Anything that compromises this cannot be treated as an irrelevant detail. This is where the language of moderation must be honestly questioned. No one begins wanting to lose control. Almost every addiction starts with something that seemed small, acceptable, and justified. The Bible does not call Christians to walk at the edge of what is permissible, but to walk in the center of God's will. Jesus never called his disciples to a permissive faith, but to deep transformation. Grace is not permission to lower the standard. It is power to live above it. When we read Scripture attentively, we realize it pushes us toward higher questions. Does this draw me closer to Christ? Does it strengthen my witness? Does it preserve my self-control? Does it glorify God in everything? In the end, the issue is not a specific beverage. It is spiritual coherence. It is deciding whether we will shape our convictions by the Word or shape the Word to fit our choices. Sobriety is not a secondary detail in Christianity. It is part of the calling itself. Perhaps the most honest question is not, is this a sin? But does this reflect who Christ is forming in me? When that question is asked sincerely, many answers become clear not by religious imposition, but by a transformed conscience. And that conscience is not born from fear, but from love. Love for God, love for testimony, love for a life that desires to remain awake, whole, and truly free. If you are still uncertain, answer these questions for yourself. How many drinks would you say is healthy for the pilot who will be flying you and your family on a trip? How many glasses of beer would you say the doctor who is about to operate on your child should have, just to make him a little more alert during the surgery? You would probably answer, none. In both cases, alcohol is also a gateway to most drugs, and even domestic violence has a very high rate connected to alcohol imbalance, but that will be addressed in another video. I hope to meet you on the last day. May God continue to bless you with brotherly love, minutes of grace,